Welcome to the Supplier Diversity and Inclusion mini podcast series by Fips Consulting. In this mini podcast series, I speak with international guests who share their experience on supplier diversity and inclusion. Today, I speak with Pavel Subrt, EGLCC's and East Meets West co-founder. Thanks a lot, Pavel, for being here. So, can you share with us, where are you calling from?
Well, Andrea, hello, and first of all, thanks for having me here. It's a great pleasure to join this podcast of yours. I'm calling you from Vienna, from Austria. So this is now my home country, but my heritage and my origin goes back to Czech Republic. And when I was now counting, born in '77, I spent a little more than half of my lifetime in Czech Republic, and now around 20 years in Austria.
Thank you. What is your role at East Meets West and EGLCC?
So my role is very simple. I had an idea together with the other co-founders, and we co-founded the organizations. So I'm the one who co-founded East Meets West back in 2013, and this is something where I think also my passion somehow sticks in. And EGLCC, that stands for the European LGBT Chamber of Commerce. And we co-founded EGLCC back in 2019 with a simple vision to basically join forces to be stronger as already existing local or regional chambers.
Yeah. So East Meets West is like 10 years old. That's a great achievement. Congratulations. And but what is actually the connection between East Meets West and EGLCC?
Sure. Maybe let me tell you more about EGLCC and why we exist. When did we start with EGLCC? And you will see the connection to East Meets West. I think important to say is that we inaugurated EGLCC in summer 2019. So it was in Vienna on a conference. We simply pledged the plans that within 1 year we will start operations with the European-wide Chamber of Commerce, LGBT Chamber of Commerce. And so we did. It was mid-2020. And we started accepting registrations from LGBTIQ-owned businesses. But this whole before even 2019, of course, there is a bit of history. And as I told you, 2013, we started with East Meets West. First, this was more an idea of getting people together, sharing experiences between LGBTIQ professionals in Central and Eastern Europe, bringing them in front of the Western inspiration. And then once, I still remember that moment, we went to Milano with Ludo, who's the second co-founder of East Meets West. And we were sitting outside the meeting room, then we were invited inside. So there was sitting Darrell. Darrell is the CEO of CGLCC, that's the Canadian Chamber of Commerce. And at the table was also Justin from NGLCC, so very famous, I think, globally person. And we simply, as two schoolboys, were listening what these conversations are there. And then we left super impressed. It's like, hey, this is great. This is supply diversity. Totally something new, but it was fitting our basically aim of East Meets West to also help business owners and to do something what maybe nobody else at that time was doing. And then we waited once Justin came out of the room, and we greeted him once again. It's like, yeah, come over to Washington. We have a dinner. So we went to Washington. We joined the National Gay and Lesbian Chamber of Commerce, the national dinner in December. There's 1,500 people on the stage. It's like, it was amazing. Yeah. And of course, we returned back motivated. We were like, oh, this is exactly it. We will start with supply diversity. We will bring it to Europe next month. And of course, I mean, it takes some time, but this is the link. So my engagement with East Meets West, which is a network of LGBT professionals, brought me close to the topic of supply diversity. We were able to learn something from NGLCC and from the CGLCC, the Canadian Chamber, and we then started to get other interested parties from Europe. And the good thing was that next to East Meets West, there was EGLCC, so that's the Italian chamber, and there was also Scandinavian chamber already existing. So we simply joined the forces, and we said that, hey, why can't we simply work on things together instead of each of us would be going our own direction. And sooner after, also the German chamber was founded, which was in late 2019. And in this way, we are now a successful pan-European organization.
Great, thank you. So East meets West is then covering like the Eastern European part, and you said that there is also the Italian chamber, the Scandinavian and the German one, so they're all part of the EGLCC organization then.
Yes, that's correct, Andrea. So you look at EGLCC as a kind of pan-European organization. So we are an umbrella organization. We bring together the European local or regional chambers. So once again, it is a German one, so GGLBC. It is a Scandinavian one, so the whole Scandinavia is covered by SGLCC. It is the Italian chamber. It is East meets West, which looks after Central and Eastern Europe, including Austria. And then I'm proud to also say that as of last year, October, we helped co-founding BGLBC. And sorry for all of the abbreviations. I'm used to it, but might be still a little difficult for some people. BGLCC stands for the Benelux LGBT Chamber of Commerce. And they are with us since October last year.
Wow, okay. So we got most of Europe covered with EGLCC, which is great. But I can imagine that being part of East meets West is kind of the most challenging group probably from EGLCC. So how is the perception in your community about supplier diversity and inclusion?
I think overall, this whole supply diversity is still rather unknown to the LGBT businesses. And now doesn't matter whether this is in Amsterdam, whether this is in Vienna, whether this is in Belgrade, in Serbia. So this is still something what we have on our busy daily work to promote and to do the awareness about why is it important, what it brings to corporates, what it brings to the diverse businesses. But you're right that this whole Central Eastern European region has a bit more specifics. Specifics are that people are less included. People are fearing. People are fearing to come out. So it's very much different between, quite open environment in Amsterdam and in Holland, comparison to Serbia. So people in Serbia would actually fear to register somewhere, to basically leave somewhere a footprint that this is an LGBTIQ owned and operated business, because they fear of losing customers, they fear of losing business partners, maybe being rejected, maybe being laughed off. So all of these things, unfortunately, doesn't help us on the journey.
Right. So it's also about corporates making them aware about supplier diversity and inclusion and what advantages it brings to them, to then also encourage all of the LGBT plus owned businesses to make themselves visible to the corporates who run supplier diversity and inclusion programs.
It's exactly how you say it, right? So how he would say it or translate it is that, of course, we understand this coming out in business environment is a person thing, and it's not always easy thing to do. It's quite a big decision. But if somebody wants to break the glass ceiling, to go beyond basically being in closet, then with the help of corporate partners, we can support these people. We can support these businesses. So this is kind of a helping hand. So they fear of losing something, okay, but at the same time, there needs to be something where they win, and the win is the support, is the backing of the corporate partners.
Right. And I understand there are kind of like LGBT labels that you can get, but they're really focusing on workforce only, or do you have any experience on such labels that also include supply chain, or looking at including diverse owned, especially also in your case, LGBT plus owned businesses in the supply chain?
So I think the good success of EGLCC is that we were able to start partnerships. So we have right now, I think, around 9 to 10 corporate partners, and these corporate partners are basically sharing with us the upcoming RFPs, RFIs. They are talking to us what are the different sourcing needs. And with this, we are able to help the diverse businesses who we have in the network. And the potential when it comes to the numbers, so how many are there maybe in Europe? I just did a quick calculation. Right now, when I look at the geography which EGLCC is covering, there are roughly 18, 20 million small, medium businesses. Wow. If I would use just a percentage of 6, so 6%, a kind of proxy of LGBTIQ community, and it's still very much kind of disputable, like if it's 6, if it's 4, if it's 10 or above 10. But when you even take 6%, you end up in 1 million or roughly 1 million LGBTIQ owned businesses. And the qualification or the criteria is that the business must be in hands of LGBTIQ persons, right? So there must be share of ownership of the LGBTIQ persons, and also they must be involved in the management. Maybe a little insight. Of course, it's a little tricky thing to do. I mean, how do you verify and how do you validate such a business? And it goes back to the local regional chambers because they are for us the key in this process. We would not be able to do this on a kind of European level from one central place, being it Vienna, being it Stockholm. No, it needs to be with the help of the local network, and the local networks are managed by the local chapters, like I don't know, East Meets West network or the Benelux LGBTIQ commerce Chamber of Commerce network. So they are basically vital for making this verification, because they also know very much who is in the community and are able to go through the verification process.
Right. So you got the local people who actually got the community and the knowledge and the network locally.
Well, there's one more thing, a bit of complexity if I would compare ourselves with maybe other advocacy organizations, because this whole gender, identity, sexual orientation, not only this is GDPR classified information, and we make sure that this is well protected, and with all of our privacy policies, we guarantee that this is not to be misused. But it's also about how do you do this verification, right? So how far do you want to go and expose the person? So if you take, for example, a trans community, do you really want to go to the time before transitioning and then ask for a proof of ID document before and after? So I think this also are a bit of ethical things, but I'm happy that we have the trust of our corporate partners, that our processes are set up in a way that they comply with the corporate requirements.
Right, and I think it's also probably not a good idea if you want to become a EGLCC business member if you're not really part of the LGBT plus community. How does your membership work for corporate? So if I'm in a corporate and I would like to become a member of EGLCC or East Meets West and be part of your events and access your database, how does that work?
Yeah, so it's about the whole memberships. And you mentioned the corporate. So corporate has one type of memberships, or there are one type of members. Then members can be also the diverse businesses. So these are the ones LGBTIQ owned and managed. And members can be also the local LGBTIQ chambers. And I named those who are already with us. very soon, hopefully in few next weeks, we will be able to announce one more Chamber of Commerce in continental Europe. Again, a huge country, very much on the western side of the map, which might already disclose. I'm going to give you the hint. And so I'm saying it because it's basically based on the members. Now, specifically when it comes to the corporate partners, how we would call them, yes, I mean we have different levels. We have the founding members or corporate partners. This is something where not only it's about supply diversity and about helping them to diversify the spend and making it also inclusive, but they're also sitting, for example, on our advisory board. And then you have the standard membership. So this is something what you get when you come to us. We have a conversation. We make sure that we understand the sourcing needs. Then we set up a certain way of working. Typically, we would have quarterly checkups set up with a corporate partner. Of course, there is access to the database, but we also need to understand that with a young organization like ours, we don't have the history of NGLCC in the US. So we didn't yet pass the 2000 certified LGBTIQ businesses like they did recently. So we are roughly at 180. So it is also a common practice that if we get a sourcing need, then if we do not have it in the database, then we will take few days just to once again check that we really can't find any prospect matching the criteria of the RFP.
Right, that's perfect. And through that, your visibility and need for the LGBT plus businesses to actually sign up to EGLCC or East Meets West is also showing them that there is an advantage if you make yourself visible. So before we come to the end, is there any signature event or anything coming up that you can recommend for diverse-owned businesses or corporates interested in supplier diversity and inclusion in your area?
So there is definitely one event everybody has to not only mark in the calendar, but I hope we all will be meeting there. And I think, Andrea, you'll be there as well. So it is Amsterdam.
I'm very much looking forward to it, yes.
September 2021, if I'm not mistaken. This is under the umbrella of the European Supply Diversity Alliance. And we are quite happy that we are part of this wider family, which is not only We Connect International, MSD UK, and EGLCC. But also some corporate partners who are driving these activities. But important here to mention is that we agreed that there will be some kind of rotating principle in terms of hosting. And I'm quite happy that this year is under the leadership of MSD UK. So Mayank Sheikh is making everything possible that it will be a great event. So once again, 21st September, Amsterdam, and it will be a brilliant event. And we will be there as well, EGLCC, so we can also meet in person.
Great. I'm very much looking forward to it, seeing you in September. But now I have one more last question to you, or one last sentence or key takeaway you would like to share with the audience.
Well, one last sentence. I mean, it was too short. I would love to talk way more, so I would like to continue talking. And I think what you do, Andrea, bringing different guests, it's brilliant. I love it very much. Maybe a message for whoever is listening to us: be curious. Be curious. What is behind supply diversity? How this can change lives of those who are on the side of diverse businesses, but how also this can change the business when it comes to the corporate ones. What do you miss if you don't tap on diverse suppliers? And the very, very last one, it's a small teaser and insight as well. I mean, we are now in the role that Andrea is interviewing, and I'm the guest. But it will be June 16 in Vienna. The roles will switch, and Andrea will be on the stage. So this is the 2023 East Meets West conference in Vienna. It's Friday, June 16, and Andrea will be there at the corporate panel talking about supply diversity and inclusion.
Right. So next event coming up in Vienna, June 16th, and then I'll see you also in Amsterdam in September. But thank you so much, Pavel, for all your valuable insights. And if you want to know more about East meets West or EGLCC, or if you want to make your supply chain more inclusive, reach out via fipsconsulting.com or check out Fips Consulting on LinkedIn. Listen to my next episodes where I talk with more experts about supplier diversity and inclusion and the impact it has on their business. Contact me if you have inputs or topics or any questions around supplier diversity and inclusion that you would like me to talk about. Thanks much for listening, and bye, Diverse Owned.